Are you worried that running a WordPress website is going to take too much of your precious time?
Here's the reality. WordPress does not have to be a time suck if you get it set up the right way to start off with.
Right, we are back with part 3 of our mini series all about WordPress myths. We've had myth 1, which was all about WordPress security, part 2, which was all about the techie stuff, and part 3 today is for all you time poor people out there, of which I am sure there are many, because all of you are busy, all of you have to-do lists as long as your arms, and it is hard to even get your head around thinking adding something else onto that to-do list. So I totally get it when people like me and Ben turn up on YouTube and we are telling you, we think you should create your own WordPress site and we think you should run it. And of course you're sat there eye rolling because you're like, how the hell am I going to fit that into my day? Well, Ben is going to tell us how.
Okay, so I completely get it. You don't have time to be the web designer, the tech support, and the content creator. You don't have time to learn how to do that in the first place, let alone do it in a reliable and regular fashion. The problem is, and the reason why people get so het up about this, is that they try to do it or learn everything up front and try to do it all themselves on day one. And that's just a nightmare. And you get completely overwhelmed doing that, using that approach, actually. There's particularly with WordPress, there's loads of choice, loads of options. We've mentioned that in the earlier parts of this series. And you don't know which tool you should be using to make your life easier. And that just adds to the problem. And I think it is all about simplifying that and getting your head around that and getting it set up properly in the first place.
Yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head with mentioning the word setup, because from that very foundational point, it's all about getting a good setup and then to keep it running, have a good system in place, right?
Systems is the key word here. It's all about setting up a reliable system that you can rely on day in, day out, and stop it overwhelming you, stop it taking up all of your time. And we've talked about this in part 1 or 2, I think, maybe both of them, that reliable quality hosting is key from the outset. If you've got that set up, then if there is a problem with your website, there'll be decent technical support to help you sort it out. And make sure if you had downtime, for example, someone else will get your website up and running for you again. So definitely don't scrimp and save on hosting is my advice. Secondly, again, we've spoken about this in the earlier parts. A user-friendly, beginner-friendly theme. This will enable you to become a web designer without learning everything you need to know about web design, because these beginner-friendly themes, they come with pre-built templates. So you'll have a design. You're not creating something from scratch. You're not starting with a blank piece of paper or a blank screen. You're actually picking a design you quite like and then adapting it to something which works for you and your business. That is the route I would go. I'd definitely take that route. And then there's sort of the day-to-day running of your website. And just making sure that it's updated in terms of WordPress and the plugins, so it's secure. And we talked about that in part 1 as well. It's really, really important, but you need to take the headache out of doing that. So it's not taking up all your time and just another thing you need to add onto your list on a daily basis.
I mean, that's great expert advice, Ben. And that's a reason why you should all be going over and subscribing to our channel, because we share expert advice weekly. And if you don't want to miss out, which I strongly suggest you don't, then I would go over and hit that subscribe button. Okay, so we are looking for ways to save time. So what are some of the things that we can put in place, or some things we can do that is going to help save us a ton of time?
Okay, again, this harks back to something I said in part 1 when we were talking about security. WordPress will enable you to enable auto updates of your plugins. So you're not having to worry about that if your plugins are all out of date and are causing a security risk. You can set it so that they will update automatically. I recommend you switch that on, because that deals with that at a stroke. You don't have to think about it. You know that your website's going to be up to date and secure and running properly. Secondly, things like backups. So you need to have backups of your website in case something goes wrong. There's a great plugin called Updraft Plus. There's a free version of that. Install that. That enables you to you can back up your website to Dropbox or Google Drive. It's that simple, and it works very, very easily. It's not difficult to set up. So I recommend that. That's a brilliant plugin. Then there's things for like running your content. So from SEO, for example, we talk about Yoast. That's a really great plugin. It's going to take the ball ache out of optimizing your content for the search engines. And scheduling tools. We've also talked about that in the past as well. So editorial calendar is one. So you can actually schedule posts, your blog posts into the future on a calendar. And that, again, simplifies things, keeps it all running smoothly. And I think, that's the way to go. There's a few tips to making it simple, straightforward, and not becoming a complete time suck.
Which is what it's all about. So I want to ask a question here, because in an ideal world, would you rather that, one, you were in complete control of your website and you tried to learn everything yourself from scratch? Bearing in mind that is going to take you a hell of a lot of time. Or two, you pay the absolute earth for someone else to do it for you, and you have little to no control over how your website is running. Or three, and this is probably the best solution in my mind, you have a mixture of both, so that you have someone, an expert, shall we say, I can't think of an expert around here, but we'll find one in a minute, who can hold your hand the whole way through the process. And the beauty of that is that you are going to learn it yourself along the way. So are you an option 1, a 2, or a 3? Let us know in the comments below what your ideal situation with your website would be.
And of course, with option 3, we hinted at this last week, didn't we? But we do have something coming up which will help with that. So watch this space.
We do.
So that's the final part of our 3-part series on WordPress myths, isn't it? So if you haven't watched part 1 and 2, they're in the playlist. So you'll get that in a minute. You'll be prompted to watch the rest, go back and watch those 2 episodes. And we'll be back next week with some more stuff, some more expert advice. Maybe we'll tell you a little bit more about what we've got coming up. That little hint of what's coming up, which is going to help you all out and save you a lot of time, and get your website up and running and your content all fantastic, and get it all sorted very, very quickly.
Hey there, I'm Bex, and I help small business owners get more visible online by having a blog on their website.
Hi, I'm Ben, and I help small business owners learn how to build their own website using WordPress, all without writing a single line of code.